So I had to write these papers, and now I'm sharing them with the world, so you can listen to my papers. Thank you so much for joining me. This one proves to be better. Off the charts, Outrage and Exclusion in the Eruption of Rock and Roll, which is a response paper to the essay written by Rebe Garofalo. Rock and roll may have been more than just a new style of music. It also seems to be a harbinger of social reform, introducing the trend towards multiculturalism. Cultural diversity is thriving more so in our current age than ever before in world history, and rock and roll seems to have been a major factor according to Miss Garofalo. The author of this very interesting essay. The question of whether rock itself is still thriving is up for some debate, however. It is clear from the facts presented within this article that rock and roll was gestated in the environment of a new economic upswing. It had been obvious to independent labels for some time that major labels had become removed from the trends occurring in the newly generated teenage markets. This article does quite a bit to show that there was ample cause for investing more resources towards this new record buying audience by pioneering rock and roll as a sound at the forefront of pop. The societal consciousness was also primed for rock and roll as well. America's teenagers were both naive towards the horrors of war at the same time better educated in reading and writing than their predecessors in most cases. This gave teenagers a willingness to explore new ideas and also bravery to make bolder statements of identity than that had been made by generations previous to them. An interesting point is made in this article as to the participation of females on the charts at the start of the rock and roll movement. This discrepancy between the active participation of males and the passivity of females perhaps comes to light when we consider the differences in accepted standards for behavior at that time. At that time, gender played into determining an individual's behavior far more than in our current day. While teenage boys may have been encouraged to get out of the house and do something like play in a band or hang out with friends, teenage girls, for the most part, were still expected to remain virtuous and obedient at home. It was the rare exception for a girl to sneak out the window to go to all-night sock hops or tune into a wild new radio station, whereas for a boy's rebellious nature, it may not have been encouraged, but it was certainly expected as natural. If not many girls were involved and influencing the initial scene, then hardly any would be active participants as entertainers within that scene. Rock and roll seems to be no longer culturally sustainable. It has accomplished far more goals than could have been imagined when its notoriety was first spread. Many lessons can be learned from this musical form, and its origins will undoubtedly continue to be uncovered and reconstructed indefinitely. It is a fact, though, that while society itself has continued on a path of becoming more intermixed and culturally sensitive, this phenomena is not evident from a glance over the current pop charts. Radio, television, and the sections in record shops have once again moved towards being controlling for the sake of predicting the industry, and in so doing have regressed back to a divisive strategy with regards to media, as it was before the inclusive revolution of the rock era began. So, what are your thoughts? Is rock and roll here to stay? Is rock and roll a past thing? Is rock and roll always going to be reincarnated as rock and roll? What is your opinion, dear listener? This is, and if you have opinions on any of my essays, please, I encourage you to write in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you listening, and I will talk to you all later. Many, many blessings from Megan and Mystic Ashram signing off.